Oh, the bane of the boomkins, the gnome
I
priest.
hate gnomes.
Do you hate Night Fae too?
You take that
I hate
back.
Night Fae too. Night Fae and gnome is the worst. That is actually the worst.
I feel like I'm being targeted right now, Sid.
You also.
It's okay. You're not a healer. If you're a healer, yeah, it would be the case.
All right. Well, I mean, it should be an interesting matchup. So I would say for the Moonkin Rudar, the scary thing for him is going to be mind games. Normally, Moonkin's incredibly durable, super difficult target to take down. I would say probably one of the more tanky classes in the entire game. But mind games is very scary. So if they can get crowd control on Novos, they get a mind games on Rudar when they burst him down. That is when he is really susceptible. But they're actually just going after Novos early on. Kidney shot on Dizzle, cheap shot on Novos. And as soon as Dizzle connects that intervene, the go is kind of over. Beautiful damage denial there by Rudar as well. Getting the crowd control on CMD. Okay. What just happened?
I think Rudar's is confused.
His hands were cold.
That happened to me against Rogue Mage last night on the ladder a couple times.
What even happened? I feel like I could totally miss that. I was like, wow, Rudar did a great job avoiding that initial combustion. You know, he got the Cyclone. CMD didn't get much damage off, and then they won. So, yeah, replay.
You cast her
I think it has to be Priest. It's usually... I got soloed by a Disc Priest. Like, Disc Priest can actually solo Boomkin. If you get mind games off and if you don't have you need a cancel aura. I am honestly lazy and need to get a cancel aura. So if we're following Rudar, I think we'll see exactly what happened, and then it's a mind games into an auto frenzy regen. So Oxygen's casting mind games. I'm just watching Oxygen. He's basically all that matters right now. Mind blast, smite. Where's mind games? He's off screen right now. You can't even see it. Penance. Maybe he must have got a mind games while he was off screen. There's no way he would have died that fast. So rogue cooldowns plus mind games is going to be what does him in. He wasn't in bear form either. We're actually watching it again. He must have sneaked in the mind games off screen. He's got Dark Archangel up. They survive combustion. Rudar gets stunned here. He could have bear formed. And the Shadow Fiend is already like a pretty intimidating cooldown. It's blind. Like a Trinket Sack here, I feel like it was really fast, but they already pressed all the cooldowns, right? There's a Shadow Fiend, a Combust. There was Shadow Blades. So Trinket Sack on blind, I think, made sense in that position, but you needed to decide to do it right away. And they also kind of scared Novos by attacking him. So he's probably hesitant to Trinket, thinking like, oh, I'm going to be the target if I Trinket. So it's just a really good strategy by Unitas. Start on the Paladin, put Novos in an awkward situation, and then just pop every cooldown on the Boomkin.
But Hamsters and Hares finding themselves on match point heading into game number 4 on Tiger's Pit. Well, let's see what these guys can do.
I really want to see if Roasties is playing the Incredible Hulk Legendary. I think it's amazing against Warlocks. Like the Warlock simply cannot tank you. There's no way he can. So if you always have a heroic leap for when he like gateway ports, well, you win. It's that simple. So let's see if, well, their effect is good as well, though, if they go after floor mat. And obviously you can't really know who the target is going to be here, but if I'm Roasties, I'm feeling confident and I'm going for it. Here's Combustion here, immediately popped by floor mat. There's a Blinding Light onto the Ron Paul, and there's a Heroic Leap coming out from Roasties. He's going to reconnect here, getting a lot of value there, but the Ron Paul, he's going to sneak in a heal. No, actually not going to be enough. The Ron Paul gets actually a heal there from Zev, and it's going to be enough there to finally keep Nozem alive, keep Ron Paul from using too many cooldowns, just the Avenging Wrath. They get a nice Repentance there, and Roasties actually breaks that Repentance by dragging, by intervening to his Paladin and dragging that Infernal on top of the Repentance, because it does AoE damage. It has like an Immolation aura or something like that that just AoEs nearby. So if you have a Warlock Elemental on you like that, you actually can break crowd controls just like Roasties did right there, and that's going to mean that Zach won't need to use his Trinket. Now they have more pressure onto Nozem. Can he get anything onto Ron Paul, though? Looks like the Ron Paul is just actually going to be going for more CC here, looking to snipe out a Repentance, not able to find it. And Nozem getting a Chaos Bolt here onto Roasty. He's actually quite low here. Can he get anything onto Zach is the question. Doesn't look like it. And now Nozem once again here is going to be the punching bag as Roasties does recover. Here's the Spear of Bastion. And Nozem just summoning a gateway here, making it very telegraphed to what he wants to do next when he comes out of these stuns. And there it is. He's gonna gate to his port. So here, if Roasties has the heroic leap, oh, there it is. He actually gets it. And he gets a beautiful fear to follow it up, and that means they're going to continue the pressure here, Sid.
Yeah, Roasty's going for Warbreaker. A lot of damage right now on Nozem. Intervene over the floor mat to reflect the Chaos Bolt, but Whoa, floor mat. Was that an altar? He got hit by 2 Chaos Bolts. I thought that Overwatch Reflect was actually going to kill Nazem by Roasties. And Nazem was getting reflected on a lot of important spells in that last game. If we managed to see some spell reflects and Nether Ward spell steals like we did in Ashamane's Fall, the Destruction Warlock's just going to get nothing done. They use Counterspell and Cyclone. That means there's no Counterspell now for the healer or the Warlock, so an opportunity for the Ron Paul to get a Repentance or Nazem to try and get a Fear. We see Nazem pushing towards Zach. Zev is on top of Zach, looking to build combo points when we go for a stun. Turn Evil used on the Fell Hunter to prevent spell lock, so the Mage can land a Polymorph. That was a nice play between the Paladin and Mage. Nice use of that returned utility as well. Sphere Bastion down, big damage. Nether Ward out from Nazem. Floor mat looking to try and strip that off, managing to peel away the Nether Ward. Now the Ron Paul getting a lot of redirected damage. They could swap to the Ron Paul. There's no way, right? There's no way he holds on to Divine Shield. 1%. Divine Shield. Big play, shattering throw on the Divine Shield. Nazem's trying to counter pressure with Chaos Bolts on the floor mat, finding a ton of damage, actually proccing the Cauterize and getting sacrificed from Zach. So not all is lost here for FLP. They do still stand a chance.
Well, if you're Ron Paul's cooldowns, all is lost. That's for sure. I mean, you get sacrifice. They made a switch with the Blinding Light, so all that redirected sacrifice damage doesn't break on Blinding Light. Got the Hammer of Justice out of that. Beautiful capitalization there by Zach. But, like you said, now with no Cauterize, Floor mat's going to be feeling a little bit less stable. And I feel like FLP, they just need to turn their attention to this Mage, try to just take him down. Nice Ring of Frost there by Floor mat, controlling up Nazem on his portal. We've got a Polymorph on Ron Paul as well. Damage here onto Nazem. Roasties on target. Blessing and Protection trades there by Zach. Just a heads-up maneuver to avoid any damage here onto Floor mat. Big Meteor is going to land. Nazem in very, very scary range. Reflect there onto the Cyclone as well. Double Mortal Coil. FLP trying to reverse the pressure, but they really need to stabilize, and Floor mat just preemptively maneuvering behind the pillar to avoid this fight.
That was a really nice shutdown there on that setup. And now FOP has a chance here to respond. They get a Hammer of Justice onto Zach. 2 Chaos Bolt sneaks in. Floor mat knows that he's going to get KO'd if that second Chaos Bolt lands. He's going to respect it and trade out his Ice Cube. And that means that cooldowns are somewhat equalizing here. Nazem, no cooldowns. Floor mat, no cooldowns. Zach has no trinket. Ron Paul has no trinket. Zach has his Divine Shield. And that's really the big difference here. He has 1 breaker left there for crowd control, but Ron Paul is going to have his trinket rotating back up very, very shortly. There's the Stormbolt on the Nazem. There's the Blinding Light. There's a Combustion. He doesn't have trinket for 1 more second. Can they get the kill before that? 2 seconds. 1 second. Trinket. There's the sacrifice onto the Seed. Unbelievable. He trinket sacks the Seed. That's how close that was. And Nazem is once again going to be able to survive. But look at the Ron Paul. He's getting chopped up with that sacrifice damage. Hammer of Justice coming out. They have a War Stomp. There it is. The Zach War Stomp trademark. And Ron Paul is going to be able to duck around the corner and keep himself alive with that Avenging Wrath. But that was about as close as you can get. Zach actually getting stunned up now on his Divine Favor. He trinkets out of that one. Nazem still in a lot of trouble. Ports away here. Roasty is actually in a root. Beautifully done by Zev. Zev is there now trying to get some heals. He gets 1 regrowth, and that was a huge regrowth right there. That was more like a lay on hands regrowth, and that's going to be enough to keep Nazem alive after such a dicey couple of events right there. And now finally the Ron Paul looking to get some crowd control here with Zev. Can they get a Repentance? Nice trinket counterspell coming out from Floor mat, trying to reverse it here with a Ring of Frost back onto Zev. Can they find a Polymorph onto Ron Paul? Ron Paul looking like he's going to be able to duck around the corner here for a little bit at least. Looking for the Repentance now. Zach actually avoiding that one. And this game is super back and forth. It could be anybody's game here, Sid.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried here for Floor mat. No Cauterize, no Ice Block. He's been the target most of this match. Nazem trades Unending Resolve during this time. Will he be able to counter pressure? He needs to get casts off with it. He's not finding them. Intimidating Shout on the whole team. Nice play. Nazem is very far away from his defensive posture, his little Warlock nest. He needs to get back in range. He's trying to stay aggressive, but he's in deep water at the moment with no cooldowns, really. Ron Paul sacrifice again, likely on cooldown as he used it on the pod, and it says it's currently active. Nazem getting stunned up by that Drift Globe core, unable to really find the finishing blow. Zach has 0 mana. Maybe Zev could just carry the game here with damage. He's getting caught in a Ring of Frost, though. Nazem is trying to turn it around with Infernals called in. Zev jumps on floor mat. Zev's going for the solo kill. Not finding enough damage to do so. Zach clutches out a big heal. Nazem now porting and gating, but Roasties connects. Will it be enough to take him out? He Nether Wards. He gets it stripped off. Zev needs to help support here. Interrupting floor mat, jumping out of form, trying to find Cyclones as well. He's going for the fake cast. Zach Zach's in trouble. The Ron Paul's in trouble. The Ron Paul has to bubble. Will Zach have to bubble? No, Zach holds on to it. Stunned up now into a Repentance, deciding to Divine Shield. Chaos Bolt's flying in onto the Mage. Floormat now gets Cycloned at low health. It's so dicey, but the main advantage right now for the Ron Paul is he's actually got substantially more mana at this point in the game. Roasties is getting 1v1 by Nazem. Floormat's getting 1v1 by Zev. Zev denies the drink there, but I think Zach got a tick, and even one tick might be enough. Zev roots Zach to go for a clone. He doesn't find it. Roasties is not winning the 1v1 on the Warlock. Nazem dishing out a ton of damage, managing to restabilize as Zach comes into the fight. 2 Brahms are called into battle. 2 robots punching away at Nazem at this point. It's going to add quite a bit of extra damage to the team if they want to go after him, but it looks like they're defensive. They're just trying to peel for Zach, trying to get a drink, but they're not finding the drink. Zev just needs to load up some bleeds. Nazem portals back. The Ron Paul was looking like he was trying to drink. Roasties is waddling back to the Warlock, trying to reconnect, and we're back in that 1v1 situation. This time around, though, if Roasties doesn't win it, he's going to be in trouble. He's stunned up. 1 Chaos Bolt. Ron Paul hitting him as well with Crusader Strikes. Mortal Coil to follow up. Beautiful setup here between Nazem and the Ron Paul. The Ron Paul tries to clutch out a Repentance. Roasties intercepts it with Intimidating Shout. Zev's in a Ring of Frost. He can't help out the team. Floormat blinks in for a poly. Nazem blinks away, trying to line of sight, avoiding Roasties. Shape-shifting across the map. Zev is moving forward, trying to get some assistance here for his Paladin. Jumping in on top of Zach, denying the drink. Very important that he doesn't get any mana at this point. Dark Soul available. When are they going to pull the trigger? Doesn't look like they want to here with a stun on Floormat. I don't even know how Zach is managing to still heal at this point. I feel like he's healing with nothing for maybe 3 minutes at this point.
Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine, but we'll see how much longer he can keep this up. Roast is getting swapped. Do they make a swap on Zev? They just delete him. Ron Paul had sacrifice. No! What a crazy fought game by both of these teams. I'm really curious to see what happens to that replay if Ron Paul is just out of range or he's out of line of sight, because he had the cooldowns to trade, and I feel like their team was in such a good spot. Zach completely out of mana. Cooldowns being rotated through as well. That was a great game by both these teams. I really liked Nazem's positioning. I liked when he was kind of just baiting Roasties away. Getting out the damage on him, forcing that kind of 1v1 situation. And let's see how they kind of diffuse this opener. Nazem likes to get really aggressive early on with his Infernals. Blink counterspell by Cerulean, really keeping them guessing. So now Nazem actually doesn't have his Demonic Gateway. Is he going to be able to get it off? He gets Blinding Lighted, so Method NA, all-out aggression early on, but it's actually Cerulean on the back foot. Zev getting really aggressive here. Nazem finally gets his Gateway, able to escape, but not a bad start whatsoever here for Method NA. But at the same time, Cerulean dipping dangerously low, eats 1 big Chaos Bolt, actually gets reflected on Nazem. That's got to feel bad. A second Chaos Bolt lands onto Cerulean, but Brain just able to power through with the heals, and it looks like Method NA will be able to hold on.
Very nice start here. Both of these teams basically going all out here, aggression, and it's actually going to be FOP who pulls ahead out in that start here. They get the Gateway, they get the Trinket of Brain, and they get the Rallying Cry here from Drake, but it's not over yet. Full Ring of Frost onto the Ron Paul here. What are you going to do, Nazem? He's got the Blessing of Protection actually active right now, so Drake not able to do anything. Potentially could get Cyclone here if Zev wants to. Doesn't look like he's going to go for it. Going for it now, waiting for Drake to actually connect on his Warlock before he goes for that Cyclone. The Ron Paul stuck in a Hammer of Justice. No crowd control though to follow it up here. And now the Ron Paul has an opportunity to go for maybe a Repentance here onto Brain. Looks like they might be setting it up. There it is. Mayhem into Repentance. He's going to get counterspelled at the last second there by Cerulean, but that means Nazem is going to be able to actually get a Fear here. The Ron Paul not going to be fishing for any more Repentances just yet. He could go for a DR Hammer of Justice into a Repentance if he wants to. Zev looking to get some Cyclones here, not able to find any just yet. Drake having full uptime right now, actually wastes his Heroic Leap right there, but a nice double blind is going to allow Drake to reconnect on his target here. Nazem forced to use his Trinket there on that Stormbolt. Zev here once again just getting shut down during these setups, and that's something I really like that Cerulean is doing. He focuses his crowd control onto the Ron Paul, but he saves his interrupts for not Nazem, but for Zev. Zev, if he gets a single regrowth during a setup off or a single Cyclone, it's basically the end of the setup, so he needs to make sure that he can land a Polymorphs on the healer and save his interrupts for the second healer here.
We see Nazem still just focused on doing damage to Drake, and Zev focused on doing damage to Ceralium, trying to create a two-pronged assault. However, now the Ron Paul is in a stun, and Nazem is getting focus fired. Where's the Ursul's Vortex? You see Zev using Wild Charge to root Drake in place on Nazem's port, and it's the synergy between the Warlock and the Druid that's important. Zev needs to use those roots whenever Nazem wants to escape so that the Warrior doesn't immediately reconnect. If he's able to combo that utility together with the Warlock, then Nazem will be able to buy time in this match, but it's quite difficult to pull off, and Nazem is getting blasted time and time again. I look at his health getting just completely erased. Zev's trying to build some momentum here on Ceralium, but Ceralium's going to alter time, and they have no way to really remove that unless the Fell Hunter gets really lucky, and I think that this means Ceralium will heal to full for free. He gets Mortal Coil at the end of it. Double Mortal Coil. Nice setup. And Nazem's going to convene a Chaos Vault with Zev onto Ceralium, blasting him down to half. Fishing for interrupts on Shadow Fury, but Drake's in battle stance with a Warbreaker. Nazem portals away. Ron Paul's in a Poly. How much longer can he survive here? Still very low. Zev going to stun Drake, but now he's Blinding Light. Triple Blinding Light. Nazem's in trouble. Ron Paul barely clutching out a heal there. Zev's trying to help out with Cyclones. He gets Spell Reflected on it. Ron Paul's still in a stun. Zev's spamming out Cyclones. And Drake is deciding not to trinket, wanting to save that defensively, realizing maybe, we don't need to trinket aggressively, just save this to stabilize and play a standard game. However, Ron Paul is actually slightly ahead on mana at this point.
Yep, and mana definitely going to be important at this point in the match. We haven't set foot into dampening yet, and we haven't really seen any opportunities in this particular match for either of these healers to sit down and drink. Just constant pressure on both sides. Maim now onto Brain, and a double Mortal Coil, but the Mortal Coil brings Ceralium out of line of sight, and Nazem not able to get off any damage. One Chaos Bolt going to be landing onto Drake as he turns his attention there. Immediate die by the sword to just try to reduce some of that incoming damage. The double stun coming in from Drake. That automatic stun going to be proccing and saving the day here on this Warrior. And now, Nazem still in the open. Ceralium just trying to reset that combustion. He actually has it available. He gets interrupted on fire. If they can get crowd control on Ron Paul, I mean, look at Ron Paul's positioning right now. Just trying to stay away from Brain, trying to stay away from Ceralium the best he can, while tossing in heals on Nazem. FLP has excellent positioning here. Drake going to be moving backwards as they make a big setup onto Zev. Zev could get taken down. Barkskin Survival Instinct. That is a lot of damage reduction. There's no way he's going to go down here, but I like these attempts. Zev's going to overextend. We saw it in their matchup against Hamsters and Hares. He can definitely get dropped really, really quickly without those defensive cooldowns. So I like the fact that Method and A has kind of realized that, and now Zev might have to play a little bit more defensive.
Yeah, and Zev's going to have to be careful. He still has his trinket, though, so not in too much danger just yet. And we're going to see a double Shadow Fury here for Nazem. And Ceralium actually takes a big hit right there. Big ferocious bite there coming out from Zev. You can tell the man is hungry here. Doesn't care if he has Barkskin or not. He's still going to keep overextending here. Kind of has to here. Try to build some pressure for his team. Going for the Cyclone. He gets Dragon's Breath on it. Nice Spell Reflect there. And Ceralium once again spell stealing that spell ward from the Warlock. And then reflecting the Chaos Pulse with it. Ceralium actually getting that Ring of Frost onto the Ron Paul. They have the pressure here. He spell steals the Nether Ward once again here. Big damage onto Nazem. What are you going to do here? Ron Paul saves the day, trinket, and sacrifice there, and that's going to be enough to shut down that situation. And I really like what Zev is doing here with his Thorns as well, saving it for after the Kleptomania comes out on the Nether Ward, activating the Thorns, getting a lot of value there since it can't get the spell onto him. He's going to lose that HP very, very shortly here. Any second, Ceralium is going to be losing a lot of HP as well, and he is able to recover both of his teammates there. Excellently done there by Brain with that Avenging Wrath. Able to recover from that situation with the Infernals there as well, but still not out of the woods yet. Drake on about 50%. He leaps in here. There comes the Fear. Big swap here onto Zev. No trinket this time, but he does have the Bark Skin. Follow it up with the Stormbolt there onto the Ron Paul out of that intimidating shout. But I don't know how much I like that swap. If there's no Bark Skin, I can kind of see how that swap works. It's similar to what Hamsters and Hare did, but I would rather just see every single Combust right now committed onto Nazem, unless you're trying to literally end the game here. Brain in a Cyclone. Drake super low. Activates the Die by the Sword. Activates the Avatar. Trying to get some counter pressure. Drake's just never ever letting go of that W key. He is going to hunt this Warlock down. Now Ceralium getting a Polymorph. Gets interrupted on the Re though. Not able to find the Ring of Frost and not able to find another Resheep, which means that Nazem is going to survive. And the Ron Paul has basically all his cooldowns rotating back up in about 15 seconds. So FLP, if there's ever a game game they're going to win. This is the game. They have the mana lead. Ooh, Brain sitting up for a drink. And he does get stopped there by Zev. But they have the mana lead. They have the cooldown lead. So for FLP, it's time to get aggressive. It's time to push in. It's time to make sure that Brain doesn't drink. And it's time to try to end this match.
Oh, Kindred Spirits active here for Zev, trying to power down Ceralium. Blasting a ton of damage with Chaos Bolts as well. They're going to trigger the Cauterize. Nice push here from FLP. Definitely their best game so far in the series and showing potential to take out North America's finest Method NA. Can they pull it off? They're so close. They've got pressure on 2 characters at the moment with Brain and crowd control. Ceralium bashed up. Zev trying to hunt him down. He's going to Cyclone the Alter Time, potentially fish for interrupts, swap over to Drake and wait for Alter Time to be over. Get some bleeds up for Nazem. Nazem portals away, but Drake leaps over as we see Nazem use the gateway. Zev's trying to help out with Cyclones. Gets Dragon's Breath. Cyclone on Ceralium. Zev just needs to heal Nazem as much as possible here. Still looking for more Cyclones with the Rampal into a stun. We see a Mortal Coil by Nazem. They're setting up onto Drake with a stun. Where are the Chaos Bolts? They're looking for 1 Chaos Bolt. Can they get 2 Chaos Bolts? Only 1. Not enough to take Nazem down. Stormbolt now onto Nazem. Drake goes into battle stance, trying to max out his damage here. Zev stops Brain from drinking and then gets right back onto Ceralium, building up those bleeds, waiting for that Kindred Spirits. Now, there is a combustion available. However, every target has a cooldown for it. They're going to pop it on Nazem and try and kill him outright. Rampal was ready for it, trading the sacrifice, and now Ceralium in trouble as Zev pops that Kindred Spirits, boosting his damage up quite a lot, swapping to Drake. Chaos Bolt getting casted by Nazem. One going to connect onto Drake, blasted down to half health. Managing to stabilize and recover now as we see the Rampal chasing Brain for a Hammer Justice Repentance. They really need it. Oh no, Rampal gets intercepted by Ceralium and into a Polymorph. Zev's trying to help out. Double Mortal Coil. Chaos Bolt's getting blasted. Ursul's Vortex on Drake into a Cyclone while Nazem portals out of line of sight. Beautiful teamwork between Zev and Nazem right here. Brain is trying to sneak away from the fight and drink, but there's a Fell Hunter chasing him. Zev is also in on the hunt onto Brain, realizing mana is the advantage here. Cyclone onto Brain. Drake's in trouble. Caught in a Shadow Fury. The entire team of FLP hammering away at Drake, trying to take him down, but they just can't do enough damage. Another Cyclone by Zev into a stun. Zev's trying to control Brain as long as possible to close this out. Nazem's going to pop on any resolve, potentially get aggressive here with it as well. The Rampal is still in crowd control, trinketing out of the intimidating shout. I'd say they're pretty even at this point between the teams. Kindred Spirits active. Zev is just chomping away at Ceralium. Sacrifice has to trade for Brain. Brain has no mana. Mortal Coil onto the Warrior. FLP, if this is the game, they need to do it here. This is their best looking game so far.
Yeah, this is incredibly close. Drake's still incredibly low. Also, and Brain, he's got no mana left. There's no tools. FLP, they might be able to do it. They've got the momentum, but Nazem's still pretty vulnerable here. Hammer of Justice on Rampal. He's not going to be messing around at all. Immediate Divine Shield. If Ceralium can just get to that combustion, I think they can close out the game. Nazem gets interrupted. Can they take him down? Nazem just so low. He's not going to be able to kite Drake. It's at this point in dampening where things just unravel for FLP, but they still have pressure. Brain has not a single defensive cooldown. Ceralium might be forced into that ice block. It needs to be very careful, but he's got the combustion. If he just uses combustion, I think Nazem's going to fall over. Ron Paul has 3 seconds left on the sacrifice. Finally has a tool to survive, and FLP, they have the answers. They might be able to do it, put a point on the board against Method NA. This composition has been giving them so much trouble, but they got a fair shot here in this one. Ceralium so dangerously low. The Spear of Bastion with the combustion. Massive damage, but sacrifice trades immediately, and it is Ceralium who gets turned into a seed. Can they take it down? It looks like they might be able to. Can they not take it down? He actually reses and then falls over immediately, but FLP, beautiful game by them. Normally at this point in dampening, I mean, maybe they're just going for it. Ron Paul has got no mana. Nazem could fall. It's going to be up to Zev. He needs to throw in some heals. It looks like he does have those heals, and I don't think Drake's going to be able to take down Nazem with Zev and Ron Paul backing him up. What a game that was. FLP, you got to give them a lot of credit. This composition's been giving them so much trouble, but they do it against Method NA, one of the best, and now we got a tied series.
Super Tease.
Went holy.
Okay, well, I mean, this is exactly what Sid predicted.
The holy
so
is different. I thought they played disc. No, the holy priest. I thought they would play disc. So there's a little bit of a difference.
Is it much different though?
I don't think
if
so.
It is much different. I think it's going to be similar. So basically, what OTK is trying to set up here, and why we're seeing a Necro Lord on Trill, is he basically doesn't want to die in a stun. They're all just playing don't die in stun with the frictionless coding. And if they can avoid that, CMD's actually going to use his combustion early on. Are we going to see an anti-magic zone? It's just a paralyze coming in from Trill. And it looks like OTK diffusing this early aggression with a grapple weapon on Aiden. And now it's going to be up to them to kind of strike back. Unitas, they do commit a decent amount of offense there. And it actually is an assassination rogue from Aiden as well. So a bit curious, these choices coming in from Unitas. But they're really mixing up here in game one.
Yeah, we're going to see the Assassination Rogue and the Holy Priest here. Definitely not something you would expect. Let's see what they can do with it. They're going after Mez here. Big damage coming in onto Mez here. He's going to use his Icebound Fortitude. He's already used his Trinket, so that means the next stun here onto Mez is going to be a full duration kidney shot. Let's see if they can pair that up with something onto Sea-Doo. That would be huge for them. They already forced out his Trinket, so Mez is already in a very dangerous situation. And Oxygen there, unfortunately, a little bit slow with the fade. Big damage onto CMD. Beautiful damage here, combo with that Syndragosa chill streak coming out from Maz and Trill here, trying to answer. But still, much pressure. CMD, what are you going to do here? Oxygen has no real big heals here to work with. It looks like he's going to activate the Fade. He's looking for the Fear. He gets the Shastai stun into the poly onto Trill, into the double Fear. Maz in so much trouble to get the Garrote.
No way!
He's going to get destroyed. Beautiful setup here coming out from Unitas. They blind up Sea-Doo. They get his trinket. They force one of Mez trinkets in the start. They get the second trinket with that second setup, and the third setup seals the deal. And that's the Holy Priest stun right there, setting it all up for the team. Excellent. Yeah, we're gonna see here game number 2 here, and I mean this is going to be a very, very telling game. If Unitas wins here, I think OTK aren't, like, they're not even sure if this is going to be a good answer here. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they actually can pull this off on the side of Unitas. But Mana definitely going to be a big story here. Double Ring of Frost. Mez isolated right at the get-go here. Big damage coming out. And Mez is actually playing Draine DK here, using that Icebound Fortitude to break out of that first stun. And that's going to be enough here. No real cooldowns committed. Actually, they did commit the Combustion here, so not a bad exchange here for Mez and for OTK. And now they're going to go after Oxygen. Big damage coming in. Oxygen forced to use his trinket as well. So pretty solid opener here for OTK, I would say. Aiden also still taking a lot of cleave damage here. Sea-Doo bopping himself out of the blind. Kidney shot secured onto Maz. We have a smoke bomb here from Aiden. It would be a perfect time to use it here. Not going to opt to use that one, and they're going to lose that pressure. And now all of a sudden, they're going to go back here, try to reset, lick their wounds a little bit, and try to get ready for that next setup.
They got a nice double stun there, but the life grip pulled CMD away. Aiden's going to escape out of line of sight. Mez is charging forward, still has a trinket to get out of stun lock. Sea-Doo still has a lot of options as well. Decent damage on the CMD. Death and Decay snipes Aiden on his re-stealth. Nice play by Mez. Sea-Doo looks like he may even try and drink. He's got to be careful about getting sapped. He might even get swapped to here. Trill portals back behind the pillar with Aiden, but ends up breaking the blind. I'm not sure if they wanted to swap to Aiden there or what they were thinking, but Blinding Light's going to get used there. Oxygen stabilizes Aiden. CMD is just getting destroyed at the moment, trying to get away from Trill and Mez. Oxygen into a Hammer of Justice, but Mez into a kidney shot. No crowd control on Sea-Doo, and a grapple weapon on Aiden means that I think Mez survives. They do manage to get Psychic Scream Mind Games. Any Magic Zone going to drop from Mez. Good trade on that Combustion. However, Aiden is sitting on that Vendetta, and it's a huge hit of damage. If Aiden uses a Vanish in Venom and gets a big crit on that, he can just absolutely erase Mez, and he's already got their Icebound Fortitude, already gotten through any magic zones, so Aiden's getting ready to load up that big pull. He might just pop it now. Here comes the Vendetta kidney shot. This is scary, and Sea-Doo knows it. He's going to trade Trinket and sacrifice for that cooldown. Overlapped with Mez's Trinket, which means Smoke Bomb is an opportunity if CMD can reset Combustion here. Aiden's going after Sea-Doo a little bit, trying to poke him with that sacrifice damage. Is Aiden going to solo Sea-Doo behind the fence there? CMD's getting crushed in the meantime by Trill and Mez, paralyzed onto Oxygen. Mez is trying to pull back away and assist Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo's caught into a stunlock with no trinket. Mez pulls Aiden away, Chains of Ice, trying to protect him with the Abomination Limb and scare Aiden away, doing a decent amount of damage to Aiden and forcing him back from Sea-Doo for now, but there's no medallions remaining. There's a Smoke Bomb. Combustion comes up and a couple more fireballs, and this Smoke Bomb could easily close the game. Double Psychic Scream Mind Games onto Mez. He gets the Anti-Magic Shield up right before it goes off. However, that Combustion is still in the back pocket of CMD. If he can get in line of sight, Sea-Doo's in a full polymorph. The next stun, I mean, this is going to be it. Trill's in a stun. Kidney shot connects. Pop Combustion. Where's the Combustion? There's the Combustion. Huge damage onto Mez. Game 2 is going to go to Unitas. 10% health remains. Dragon's Breath. Mind Control closes it out. And I said it was going to be a 3-0, but I didn't think it was going to be in favor of Unitas. Why do I feel like Unitas are actually just going to win this? I feel like they're going to do that triple setup, the Chastise, the Kidney, the DB Sheave, and it's going to be clean. Sam finds CMD. That's a nice start here. Aiden's trying to sneak in, but he's not going to get a sap, so OTK removed that potential crowd control from the match. Oxygen is just sprinting in on top of OTK right now, getting a Psychic Scream, cheap shot on Sea-Doo. Looking to set up damage onto Trill. It looks like Trill's going to portal back into the room. This map was picked so that Trill could use that portal positioning. Sea-Doo now looking like he wants to post up for a Hammer of Justice, but gets snared. Oxygen pre-fades and moves away from the Hammer of Justice. Trill stunned up by Aiden, but no crowd control just yet. CMD tries to fake out, interrupts, faking out Sam I Am's counterspell. CMD gets interrupted, though, by Trill. Sea-Doo's marching at Oxygen, really wants to get a Hammer of Justice, but gets intercepted in a polymorph. Trill is still the target here. Fist of Fury, Diffuse Magic, and a trade, but it wasn't Combustion. You can tell that Trill is a bit worried here, trading that cooldown for nothing from the side of Unitas.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting matchup so far. CMD going to be taking a little bit of damage as finally OTK looking to develop a little bit of momentum of their own. Fist of Fury gets Dragon's Breath. Sam I Am gets counterspelled. CMD doing a good job playing defense, trying to protect Oxygen from crowd control so he can get healed up. This was his combustion as well. So CMD actually stole Sam I Am's combustion. That is going to sit pretty, and now he can actually reverse the pressure here on Trill. They get the touch of Karma. Trill forced to use his Transcendence. He's got no diffuse, and all of a sudden, Trill is left all alone. Aiden, if he can reconnect, Trill could be in a world of hurt. Sea-Doo now caught into a polymorph. He's trying to reconnect to target, interrupting Oxygen. Dragon's Breath on Trill, still in a lot of trouble. Sea-Doo finally tops him off, but Trill has no defensive cooldowns left. Needs to make sure his portal is in a good position. It is still in that room, but with no real defensive cooldowns, if we do see him get caught into a stun, and Aiden can reconnect with like a smoke bomb, then Trill's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and we're going to see Aiden now caught up in a polymorph here. Let's see what he can do when he gets out of this one. And they're still going to go after Trill here. Trill still having a lot of options here. Both of these mages just resetting their combusts here. I wonder if Sam is actually a better target here. For OTK, the story for them is just try to survive. Oh, Trill, my goodness! He's taking so much damage. He trinkets out after Sea-Doo actually trades the Divine Shield and the Sacrifice. Mind control on low HP, and this is a disaster. They're swapping over to Oxygen. Oxygen immediately trinkets, activates the Fade before he takes the damage. CMD has Combustion. Trill has no trinket. Sea-Doo has no trinket. He's caught up in a fear. Trill is running for his life. They swap over to Sea-Doo.
No way!
And no way! OTK get OTK.
O3K'd.
They get O3K'd by Unitas. The kings of LATAM have done it.
It is game number 3, Hamsters and Hares versus Charlotte Phoenix. Winner of this moving on to the finals.
The Moonkin was never picked to win. It was picked to stall. Just so they could get as much time as possible for Nick. And hopefully it bought enough time here because this is match point, so they can't pull it together. They can be going down to the lower bracket. Korlik is the target right away. Big hit of damage. Going to trade that Divine Protection and start running across the map. Gets intercepted by a Dragon's Breath. Floor mat now intercepted by Nick and a Kidney Shot. But Zach's got big heals. Aang falls behind. That Lightning Lasso got big value, but still floor mat taking a lot of damage at the moment. Zach struggling, using a Blessing Protection here, likely to remove the blind from Nick, but there's still Vendetta. That's a big threat. But Valito's just blasting Nick. Nick just has to vanish. Valito would have just outright killed him, so definitely looking confident on that Ellie Shaman. And Hamsters and Hares are really the only team we see in North America utilizing this Ellie Mage comp. And if they can play it even close to the level that we saw previously from Skill Cap DU, I mean, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, there really is no question. That's what I'm saying. This team, Hamsters and Hares, they're really just kind of heating up here. And I think for the circuit, they're going to be one of those teams that looks really, really solid. Floor mat right now getting hit by a huge burst of damage. But in the meantime, Nick getting absolutely destroyed. He's got no vanish. This could be the Cloak of Shadows. Zach right now caught into a Hammer of Justice. Korlik looking to strike back. Can they get anything going here on floor mat? Garrote silenced. Does he have a Kidney Shot? Nick getting close to that stun. Zach getting crowd control of his own. A full Ring of Frost does land. Nicely done there by floor mat. Now Nick is absolutely on the run. Are they just going to go after Korlik? Rune of Power being set up here by floor mat. It's looking like they want to, but I don't know if they have the stun. Nick out of line of sight right now. Floor mat's just going to be blinking in into a full Kidney Shot. Hello, says Nick. He'll take that one for free as he looks to get some pressure rolling for his team.
Yeah, but now he's the one being pressured here. Big damage onto Nick here. Activates the feint. Might need to use his Cloak of Shadows. He's not too careful. Zach has no trinket, but Zach is able to power through the heals. Forced to use that Cloak of Shadows after all. Valido coming through here with the power of that Elemental Shaman. Blessing of Protection comes out on the Kidney Shot on Floor Mat. Floor Mat looking for CC. Korlik stuck in a Hammer of Justice. Can they find the Ring of Frost? They do. Nick is on the run here. No Vanish available. No Cloak of Shadows available. Zach War Stomps here. Nick actually trinkets out into a Lightning Lasso. Disaster for Nick, and he is going to get absolutely destroyed there. Smoked like an Angus beef burger.
Oh my god! Oh my goodness! All right, you know what? That's the best eagle pun I've ever heard. That was really good.
All right.
Well, this is an interesting one. Kind of as predicted, Method NA going to be leading with Drake on the Windwalker Monk and Nick on the Warrior. Surrounding going to be taking a huge hit of damage early on, forced to not trade his trinket, but does manage to get the Kleptomania spell steal. Surrounding going to be using a little bit of that combustion for his own damage. And Aang doesn't really have... I guess he's going to not spell steal it back, just waiting for Surrounding to kind of pull the trigger on his damage. Early crowd control going out. Good control here by Aang, but Drake bounces him back. Take a little bit of damage. Brain now in a Ring of Frost. This is where Surrounding could be in trouble. Going to have to do a good job. He's getting so dangerously low. The Battlemaster comes in with the mirror image. Rain trying to empower his healing to top off Cerulean, manages to find some heals, but what a close call that was. That could have been an early cauterize coming up from Cerulean.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing that's been it's kind of interesting to note is that when we've seen Charlotte Phoenix play this matchup into OTK, they have been getting absolutely destroyed. So we're gonna be interesting to see Method NA here if they can do the same thing. But right now, Cerulean is the one getting destroyed. Charge executes coming in, another execute and another one. Can they get the cauterize is the question here. Sacrifice comes out from Brain, but look at that sacrifice damage he's taking. Huge damage there from those executes of Nick. And Nick right now charging in, but he gets caught up in a leg sweep. Drake here trying to turn the situation around, paralyzed onto Korlik. Big damage here onto Aang, but he does have the Triune Barrier to keep him alive, and it looks like Drake is not going to be able to force the cauterize or the ice block. Nice teleport there from Drake, actually playing that Relentless, which means he can't get Dragon's Breath sheeped without Aang having big haste. He gets caught up in a lot of damage here. Once again, Aang dropping to about 20% right there. Takes a massive chunk of damage here. Both of these teams doing a lot of pressure, but so far no real massive defensives being forced.
Nice shutdown by Aang there, removing Cerulean's combustion. Cerulean falling a bit behind, trinketing out of the Stormbolt. Ring of Frost secured on Korlik. Now Aang falling behind, desperately Dragon's Breathing Drake, but not able to find a polymorph. Now paralyzed on his blink, double Dragon's Breath into another polymorph, staying on target here, doing the maximum amount of damage possible to Aang. But not enough to get a kill, but maybe enough to just run Korlik out of mana. They're still just pounding away, down to half health once again. No Avenging Wrath for 14 seconds for Korlik. Quite difficult to heal in this position. As we see him move in for a stun on Brain, they're trying to chase down Cerulean. They Stormbolt the Soul Shape to get a double Blinding Light. Nice play here onto Cerulean. Can they force the Cauterize with 1 second left on it? No, the Triune Ward activates. Now Aang is suddenly just getting decimated by Drake. So much damage coming out. Korlik trinkets and sacrifices, but that's redirected damage that he's going to have to heal back in the future. Is he going to be able to handle the pressure? He still hasn't stabilized. He's just dying to a sack dot now, having to use his Avenging Wrath, and that should allow him to recover. Aang blinking towards midfield. Korlik catching a big Holy Light behind the pillar, but look at his mana. It's just absolutely getting decimated. Drake is doing so much damage in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he can keep that up in this matchup. Here comes Zwen. Massive damage available here for Aang. Or for Drake on Aang. Aang's in a lot of trouble to die. Double Blinding Light comes in. This is the Cauterize. It could just be the game. The Ice Block as well. Korlik does not want to have to trade out the Divine Shield. If he does, it is an absolute disaster. Do they have any more crowd control? It doesn't look like a big Divine Toll. Aang looks like he will be okay, but still a lot of damage available here for Drake as they continue to make a push. And now, at this point, Charlotte Phoenix, there's not too many cooldowns left to work with. That was the Wings. That's a trinket from Korlik. No sacrifice, no Blessing of Protection. Basically nothing except that Divine Shield. But if he's not careful, he uses it too late, he might not have the throughput to keep this mage alive.
Oh, Aang actually gets caught up in a leg sweep. Big damage coming out here from the images of Drake here. Let's see if they can get anything done. Korlik actually forced to use his Divine Shield right there. So cooldown after cooldown here being forced. But a big swap over onto Drake. Trades out the Touch of Karma. He tries to roll out from that Kyrian Spear, but not able to do it just yet. Now disarming Nick here, finally getting a little bit of distance. Getting back on his target here, Aang. Let's see what he can do here. big Fist of Fury damage, but Aang with that freedom, able to walk away from it. And Aang now trying to reposition here far, far away from Brain. Drake now is caught up in a Frost Nova, able to get dispelled here potentially on that polymorph. There it is, and now he's going to be able to reconnect here onto Aang, but he's moving very far away from his healer, and now as a result, it could set something up onto him. Drake caught up in a Stormbolt, taking huge damage, no touch of karma available, needs to be super careful here, gets saved here once again by Brain, but what a close call there. Really, really nice Windwalker swap there, and once again now Cordic and a Hammer of Justice, followed up with the polymorph here. Nick, can he reconnect on his target is the question here, trying to get some peels out here, trying to get something going. He's in battle stance, trying to get a little bit of pressure back onto Cerulean, but everything is just looking in favor of Method NA right now. No, in terms of cooldowns, in terms of mana, and I don't know how long Aang is going to be able to keep alive here, Sid.
Yeah, Zwen is coming up right now, so if Drake decides to pull the trigger on this, there comes Zwen out onto Aang. Corlick needs to get ready. Are they going to bop this? He gets polymorphed. He doesn't have any way to get out of polymorph. This is devastating. This is going to be the end of the game if they keep the chain going. Aang going for another one, not able to find a Cerulean. Gets picked up by Brain in the meantime. Nick is trying to do as much damage as possible. They do disrupt the polymorph chain on Corlick. Cerulean blinks in again to try and close this one out. Do they have enough damage to take it here? They're going to proc that pod pretty soon. Dragon's Breath onto Corlick. Do they have a stun out? So Corlick sneaks in the sacrifice right before any more crowd control and stabilizes the team with Avenging Wrath, but his mana bar is burning down so quickly. A swap to Corlick, no Divine Shield. They're going to proc his Saved by the Light. They have a lot of extra redirected damage. They stun Drake. They're trying to peel Drake away from Corlick, and I think they've done it. He's going to trade defensive cooldowns. I don't think he can stay on Corlick, but he's just going after Aang. A paralyze on Corlick. I think they're going to hit the pod here. Double leg stream, triple leg stream. Huge value by Drake here in game number 1 as they proc the pod and they look to pop it. Saved by the Light procs on the pod. And I don't know if they're going to be able to kill it in time. Aang comes back into the fight, but Nick is now suddenly dead. He catches a big heal. Aang stays alive, but for how much longer?
I mean, that really is a good question. Touch of Death still available for Drake. If Aang gets even a little bit lower, could be the game. Cerulean, in the meantime, has no ice block. He does have his Cauterize, but could be feeling a little bit of pressure here at this particular time. Charlotte Phoenix still in desperation. They need to hold on. Aang, he has his ice block. If he gets the shifting power up, he actually has ice block back available. All of a sudden, Charlotte Phoenix are back in the game because of that seed. Cerulean, in the meantime, I mean, I think he even traded out his ice block to try to close out the game, so that could have backfired in a huge way. The fact that they didn't take it down, 12% dampening. Corlick still completely tapped on mana, but it's Cerulean on the back foot. Divine Shield forced to be used by Brain. And all of a sudden, Charlotte Phoenix, they are back in this game. They need to hold on. The ice block on the leg sweep. Very nicely done. So he's happy he had that. Nick's going to be getting a little bit low, and there's really no defense for Nick as well. So can they do it for like a full polymorph? He could shrink it out. He decides to shrink it out, but that Rising Sun kick from Drake ends the game, and it was just... It's hard to recover at that point, although he got his ice block left. Corlick had basically been tapped on mana, and Method NA was able to completely ride that momentum to a Game 1 victory.
Yeah, it's usually just those comps are really good into almost everything, and you kind of force the other team to just play a mirror if they want to have a chance at beating you. And it just depends on what you have available. If either of these teams could play Shadow Priest Mage, then we wouldn't see a mirror here, but since they don't, yeah, Shadow Priest Mage usually beats Warrior Mage, so I think
that's what I thought too. But Method NA can play it. They've played it in the past, and then they just stopped playing it. Usually Method NA just
They played it today. Oh wait, no, they didn't. Sorry.
I think it was like in week 1. Aang interrupted on Frost. Bit of a scary start here. Nick getting blasted down on his intervene. Fear on Corlick. Still a lot of pressure here, but Cerulean now low health as well. They're gonna get Cauterized. They get Cauterized 30 seconds into the game. Devastation for Charlotte Phoenix.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, let's see exactly how it plays out. Stormbolt right now onto Cerulean. Drake going to get topped off as well. And just to go to your early point, I got some insider information that, you know, these teams played a bit and they practiced the Shadow Priest Mage into the Warrior Mage. And apparently the Warrior Mage was quite dominant in those matchups, allegedly. So maybe that's why they're opting not to do it. Cerulean going to get forced to get that sacrifice. Brain making an early trade with that Trinket and that sacrifice. Nice setup coming in here. Both these teams a lot of experience with this particular matchup. Is basically the upper echelon of Warrior Mage Paladin mirrors. And on the small map, it's going to be very explosive. You can see Brain, he's just pressured so much of the match already, getting really, really low from that redirected sacrifice damage with a full polymorph lands. Aang on fire in this matchup so far. Cerealium trying to survive with this Altar Time, just kiting away, avoiding the Kleptomania spell steal. And it looks like he will be able to do so once that pops. And Nick is just waiting for him in the wings, looking to take him down. Can he get the cauterized Brain out of crowd control now? Should be okay to get healed up. And now we want to see Method NA try to get some reverse pressure. Here's the Blinding Light. Stormbolt's onto Aang. Managed to escape that situation with his mirror image. Potential Altar Time as well, but just beautiful positioning from Aang. Trying to avoid using his Ice Walk. He doesn't have the cauterize, so can't be feeling too safe, but the Altar Time brings him back to his healer, and Charlotte Phoenix hold on.
Both of these mages using their Altar Time very, very effectively there. And Cerealium now, though, going to push the trigger here on the Combustion. Aang is counterspelled on Arcane, so he can't spell steal that back. And now it's kind of late to steal it, but he's going to go for the Kleptomania and cancel. And that's going to force Corlic's Trinket Sacrifice. So not a bad push there. Now Aang looking to get a polymorph onto Drake. Corlic looking to cross crowd control with Brain, but Drake gets dispelled. But Drake, so that means Drake can get that War Banner. So Brain gets the dispel on Drake before he gets Hammer of Justice. Cerealium almost just gets taken down there still, but that War Banner is going to be enough here to save the day. And now once again here we can see if they're going to be able to get aggressive here. Drake has his avatar popped, looking to get aggressive. Triple Dragon's Breath right now. Can they get the crowd control? They're looking for it. Cerealium gets feared defensively here just to stop him. Nice spear of Bastion there by Nick. Is going to pin Cerealium down on his blink there as well. Let's see if they can go and get those polymorphs. They're both trying to fish for it right now. Cerealium once again gets shut down there by the Stormbolt, and he gets a Blessing of Protection out of that. And actually, I think it was Klepted and canceled there. I'm not sure if he's going to have that available for the Combustion potentially, but we're going to see here a little bit later. Cerealium now once again on the back foot here. Brain in a polymorph, potentially followed up by Ring of Frost. He gets pummeled on the Ring of Frost. Aang doesn't, actually he does get the resheep there as well. He gets Stormbolted a little bit late there by Drake. Cerealium super, super low. Still has that Cauterize to rely on. Corlic pushes in for the Hammer of Justice. He gets it. Cerealium now in a Stormbolt, trinkets out of it, blinks out of it, getting a little bit of distance, but still Nick is all over him right now. Can he recover? And it looks like he will be able to recover there, but that was a lot of pressure and a lot of cooldowns here from Charlotte Phoenix. They strike back.
All right, let's see if they can keep it going. Aang's in trouble. Corlic's in a poly. Ice block. Shattering throw. Connects onto Aang. Stormbolt out. He triggers. He's on 1%. They've triggered the pod here. He's taking so much damage at the moment. Corlic is struggling. What? Manages to clutch it out just at the last second and stabilize. In the meantime, Cerealium's Cauterize triggered and Brain traded Sacrifice amidst all the chaos, which does allow Charlotte Phoenix at least some opportunity here. Corlic, though, is stunned up. Is he going to have to Trinket Sack? It's basically their last cooldown. If they do here, as we see an Intervene come in onto Cerealium, Cerealium's not going to take too much damage. Aang still the target. They drop a War Banner, preempting some crowd control, not hitting anything just yet. Blinding Light onto Brain, trying to take out Cerealium and get his block here. Not finding it. Brain gets a big heal. War Banner tossed down again and sniped away immediately here. Cerealium connected to by Nick. Freedom to reconnect out of the Frost Nova. Aang taking a huge amount of damage. Brain deciding to bubble and immune the crowd control. Corlic caught in a polymorph. Still that Trinket Sacrifice is the last line of defense, and he trades it on that polymorph, diminishing return. Now Ice Block still remains for Cerealium. That's the only major defensive, and Aang is popping Combust. They might be able to just get it here. Divine Favor comes out for Brain. Holy Light connects onto Cerealium. Will Cerealium be able to survive here? Drake charges back onto Aang. Corlic gets an Avenging Wrath up. Brain's trying to move in, maybe to stun him on it. If they can crowd control this Avenging Wrath, they can certainly kill Aang. Can they get in position here? Cerealium's taking to the center top tomb, trying to get on top of Corlic, but not wanting to overextend and actually having to Ice Block. That's the last cooldown there on the side of Method NA. Things are spiraling out of control for both sides.
Yeah, this is dangerous. Aang getting low, Cerealium getting low. Both mages just exchanging blows. There's 5 seconds left on Cauterize for Aang. Can he hold on? 3 seconds? 2 seconds? Is he going to be able to get it? He does. So he has that available. That safety net going to pay dividends here for Charlotte Phoenix. 5% dampening at this point of the game. Both these paladins have basically burned through all of their mana. Both mages have essentially no cooldowns left. It's going to be up to Nick and Drake to cause a lot of pressure here. Which one of these mages can find crowd control? Brain initializes a Blinding Light. A full Ring of Frost lands. A DR, actually, Ring of Frost. Nicely done there by Nick, backing him up with that War Banner, reducing that incoming crowd control. And now it's Cerealium getting extremely low. Aang at the same time. Either one of these mages could fall at any moment. Wings available here for Corlic. Should be able to top off his team, at least unless they get the crowd control. The sacrifice actually available for Brain. He could trade that out. He could use the sacrifice to keep Cerulean alive. Really wants to greet it, doesn't want to use it just yet. He actually uses it, now potentially going down for a drink to recover his mana. And if he can get a little bit of mana left, that Mage Fit's going to heal him up at the same time to avoid that sacrifice damage, but Cerulean can't get too far. Stormbolt comes in. Do they have the damage? That might actually drop him.
Yeah.
The Seed gets procced. Can Brain heal it up? Dragon's Breath coming in from Aang, Blessing and Protection it, and they smack it down. Method NA gets handled in game number 2. Very close. I mean, these teams, you can tell how evenly matched they are. Charlotte Phoenix, though, comes out ahead and ties up this series.
Method NA, I mean, this is their bread and butter comp. This is their main composition here. Windwalker Mage. This is what basically they've been riding on for the for the entirety of last year, and for the majority of this year, you know, they've been swapping it up here and there, but this is really, when their backs are against the wall, this is what they like to run, and they are extremely, extremely good at it. So we'll see if they can pull this off here. Oh, big pressure onto Drake. Immediate use of that touch of karma. Now here comes the leg sweep on the floor mat. Floor mat immediately trinkets, alters, blinks, alters back, gets one big fat heal from Valido, and here comes the Stormkeeper. He walks into the room to drop the Sky Fury. Here comes the damage. Drake has no karma. Needs to be very, very scared here. Might need to use the diffuse magic here. Honestly, Valido still has a couple of hits left there with that Stormkeeper. Drake, though, is able to survive there. Beautiful heals there from Brain with those wings. Brain, just such a good healer, just healing through the damage, no problems whatsoever. Drake now caught up in a lightning lasso. Cerulean also gets caught up in a hammer of justice, tries to blink in to get the sheeps, instead gets shut down and gets caught up in a hex. And so far, it's looking pretty good for Hamsters and Hares.
Yeah, the Windwalker is just having a tough time sticking to a target here and getting damage out without just getting decimated and getting floored, really, between Valido and Floormat. Zach caught in a paralyze. They're trying to set up damage here. Nice Hammer of Justice. That's a clean setup, and that's going to be an ice block. That's exactly what they need to do. Just paralyze the healer, Hammer of Justice the mage, win in 3 seconds. Rinse, repeat. Get back to the pillar. Wait till you can do that again. And these hit and run plays, I think, are going to allow them victory. However, Floormat is trying to punish the stack behind the pillar by blinking in with a triple Dragon's Breath, catching Drake in a lightning lasso with a meteor. But Brain was ready for it, healing through the damage. And Valido and Floormat are looking like they are unafraid, just taking the enemy's pillar and stacking up behind it, not letting them retreat to that moment of burst damage. Getting crowd control on 3 players, trying to pin out Drake. Drake going to trade out Karma, but they're trying to crack through it, so he's going to have to use Diffuse Magic as well. And now there's nothing to answer the combustion. If they can crowd control Cerulean, interrupt the Polymorph, stop him from getting a Kleptomania on this combustion, I think this combustion just outright kills Drake. There's no sacrifice, no Avenger Wrath, but they're not even making it to that point. Floormat is stunned up. Cauterize is going to trigger. Zach Divine Shields as well. Desperation to try and keep him alive. I feel like they're going to have to win with this combustion. They need to control Cerulean, get rid of the Kleptomania, and go for a big hit on a Lightning Lasso. But Brain's in a Polymorph. Drake's in trouble. War Stomp catches him. He's trying to stay alive. He's so low here. Combustion is getting big value. Huge damage. Is Drake going to hold on? Brain Divine Shields with Avenging Wrath. Drake's going to survive. And now they've got that Paralyzed Hammer of Justice coming up and likely available. They're pushing forward. Where's the Paralyze? Onto Zach. Brain's going to have to move out into center field at some point, but Valido is sitting here getting ready to control him on his way in. If he does, Brain's trying to sneak across with the Dragon's Breath. Will he be able to find it? There's Paralyzed. Where's the hammer? No hammer just yet on Floormat, and he's able to avoid it just in time. Zach gets sacrificed and denies all the damage on Floormat. Good timing. Now Drake on the run. Valido's trying to take him out, chasing him around the corner. Now he runs into a huge hammer. Zach is owning Drake right now. Huge Holy Paladin damage. Not enough, though. Brain trades out Trinket Sacrifice just in the nick of time, and both teams looking evenly matched.
Such close calls on Drake. Fear Method NA take a deep breath, but they've managed to get to the point where Drake actually has his karma. He immediately has to use it the second it comes off cooldown. He still has that diffuse magic, but that's not going to be paired. Well, at least the karma is not going to be paired up with the next combustion. Cerulean actually using his ice block into another polymorph. They're trying to get aggressive here on Floormat. Floormat might just get dropped and procced. Can they do it? Zach, he has a Blessing of Protection. He has his trinket. Drake in a lot of trouble, though, in that lightning lasso. Might have to trade up the diffuse. He actually gets wind sheared. And big kills coming in from Brain will keep him alive. Floormat once again on the run with Soul Shave. Such a back and forth matchup. Floormat with that shifting power, though, slowly getting his ice block back off cooldown. Combustion now ready and available. Drake has no trinket. There's no good healing here from Brain as well. So he has no cooldowns. I mean, all they need is one good setup on Drake, and they can easily take him down. I think Method NA realizes how much trouble they are in. Drake's going to have to get a preemptive diffuse or something if he wants to survive.
Yeah, I think, well, Drake's going to have his trinket now, so I think Drake is actually a bad target. I think they're going to go after Brain here. They're already zapping him. They're already setting him up. No trinket, no Divine Shield. Here we go. No, they're going to go for the Ring of Frost. They're going to go for CC, and they're going to choose to go after Drake here. Where's the Lightning Lasso? Valito is counterspell right now. Cannot access it, and there's the diffused magic that Ben was talking about earlier. Hex comes out onto Ceralium. Brain out of crowd control. They could swap to him in that stun. They're going to continue the chain. There is the Lightning Lasso. Drake using these every man for himself. His Battle Master using everything here to just survive. He's going to have his Touch of Karma coming up soon, and Brain is going to have his Trinket coming up very, very soon as well. Zach, barely any mana left in the tank. He has his Divine Shield in 40 seconds. This could be a very dangerous situation here for Floor Mat as well. Maybe he could have to use his Ice Block. He just drops it on full HP there, respecting the damage and respecting the fact that Zach barely has any mana left here to work with. So both of these teams really pushing it to the edge here. Who is going to fall first? That is the question. Drake immediately teleporting away. Here comes the Rune of Power. Here comes the swap over onto the Paladin. Big damage here with the Lightning Lasso. Divine Protection coming out, and Brain is going to hold on, holding his trinket, greeting it in that situation, but he is going to be able to hold on to that, and then he's going to have his trinket as well as the Divine Shield. So Brain no longer really a target here, and all of a sudden Method NA coming out of a dicey situation and looking like they are ahead. Floor Mat in so much trouble right now. He's just
Pod,
walk into a pod.
Okay.
He sacrificed the pod, and that means Floor Mat is going to come back here, and they know it on the side of Method NA. So Floor Mat going to resurrect here, and he's going to be able to live the fight another day. Drake now forced to use his Touch of Karma. Gets bopped off though. He's still in trouble and runs away here, trying to reset that.
Game number 2, best of 7 finals in North America. Zwen's available. There's no Blessing of Protection. There's no mana to heal through it. If Drake connects here, surely Floor Mat is going to get taken to the cleaners. Zach caught in a polymorph. Zwen has been popped. Huge damage coming out. Dragon's Breath intercepts it. Floor Mat tries to blink away, but Zwen is coming out of that Frost Nova in just a second, leaping in for the kill. And Method NA close it out with precision. Tied up 1-1.
It is Hamsters and Hairs tied up 1-1 versus that Method NA. What can they do here on this map?
Well, I really like the fact that they were. I mean, there's multiple options for the side of Method NA and for the side of Hamsters and Hairs. I mean, Hamsters and Hairs, they can basically take down anyone that overextends. Drake is a primary target because he's most likely to be overextending. Lightning Lasso goes in. Valito going to be getting that entire channel off. I think that might have been the Aura Mastery, so Ceralium wasn't able to actually interrupt it with a counter spell, and that just puts Drake in a position where he instantly has to go defensive in the match. And I think for Method NA, I didn't mind when they went after Valito, but it seems like they really want to just deny Floor Mat as much damage as possible. The thing is, even though it's annoying to leave an Elemental Shaman, free casting a Fire Mage is also incredibly devastating, being able to reset his Combustion and go for Polymorphs, force him defensive. Now actually just going for a Combustion of his own. Drake taking a huge hit of damage. Let's see, Valito getting low. Drake forced the Transcendence away. Zach in a prime position to heal him up. And I think if Zach just takes this room and goes for drinks, Hamsters and Hairs could be in a good spot for this map.
Ooh, big swap here onto Brain. Can they get the War Stomp on his Trinket? Doesn't look like they're going to be able to force that Divine Shield there, but I really like that Zach keeps trying to do that play there. It actually nets them a lot of cooldowns. Floor Mat, though, might have to use some of his cooldowns right now. He's getting walked all over. Drake here just doing tons of damage with that Fist of Fury, with his images, and those images are going to be slow. They're going to be rooted and finally going to be disappearing here. Valito with the Lightning Lasso trying to pin Drake down. Drake's going to be running to the starting area, and that means he's going to be completely safe. At any point as a Windwalker, you can just put your port in that room there, and then you can play out here in the midfield, and at any time you want, just teleport back behind line of sight, which is a big reason why Method NA wanted this as their map. It's a very, very good map for Windwalkers, as Sid pointed out, and we're going to see Zach now push in here for the Hammer of Justice. Can he get it? He does land it, and they're going to swap over to Brain. This has got to be the Divine Shield, and Saved by the Light is going to proc, but they are going to get that Divine Shield. So really like that they're going after the Holy Paladin more here. Hamsters and Hairs abusing these smaller maps, abusing the fact that it's easier to reach the healers here, and they're doing a fantastic job so far.
Yeah, nice punish on taking the map into their own advantage by going after the healer. Brain is not feeling too comfortable. He's trying to sit and sit for a drink, but will he be able to? Nice paralyzed leg sweep, triple crowd control engagement by Method NA, pushing for Cauterize here. Do they have enough damage to do it? Doesn't look like it. Floormat's starting to recover with Zach out of crowd control. Ceruleum now hexed up. Nice hex by Valito. Certainly want to take advantage of the fact that no one can remove hexes other than the mage. So hexing the mage on cooldown. Drake stunned up into an elemental stun out of the lightning lasso, but not really getting any monk cooldowns, only the Avenging Wrath, and that's a very powerful healing cooldown for the Paladin. Glowing below Brain's frame. Whenever that's glowing, you know Brain's going to do a lot of healing. Same goes for Zach. Drake's trying to line of sight, but Valito is just tearing him apart right now. Managing to recover and trying to get back on target. Building up some damage. Nice pyros coming in from Ceruleum. And Zach's trying to drink, so they're trying to punish the drink by going after the Ellie Shaman. They're going to proc save by the Light Shield. I don't think they can kill him there. Oh man, if that Ring of Peace locked him in the room, I think that might have been game over. Valito's going to trade Astral Shift for this. It's Zwen the Tiger. It might not be enough. Zwen does a lot of damage. But in the meantime, Drake has to run away. Brain's in a polymorph. He can't push with his Zwen, and he doesn't want to risk it here on their map pick. They cannot afford to lose on their map picks, let alone on the picks of the opposing team. And here comes another swap to the Paladin. Brain Divine Protections. He's got... Oh, he got KO'd real good. Hamsters and Hairs going to match point.
It seems so simple when you put it like that, but Method NA isn't going to make it easy for these guys. Hamsters and Hairs 3-2 right now versus Method NA. They are so close yet, honestly, so far.
Big map, small pillars. That's a scary map for a Windwalker Monk. Not many places to hide. I mean, there's more. Look at the surface area. It's a gigantic map. Drake's trying to hide at the pillar, but look at this. Where is he going to line of sight? Floormat on the left, Valito on the right. He's kind of forced to attack. He can't just stay at the pillar like on Tolvaron Arena. So a great match point map here, picked by Hamsters and Hairs. They've got crowd control on Drake. They polymorph him. They're setting up to switch it over to Brain. Well, oh, they're swapping on to Brain with damage, actually. Can they take him out here? It's match point. He's got to be careful. Is he wearing that tank legendary? He is. And wearing that tank legendary allows him to survive the swap and recover behind the pillar pretty much unscathed. No Divine Shield or Medallion trade. Now they're switching back to Drake, trying to force him back to the pillar. Valito's very far away. Wants to make sure he can get a Sky Fury totem, and you can see it behind the pillar here. Drake's going to roll over and punch it real quick, not wanting to get that crit damage buff on both a Fire Mage and an Ellie Shaman, adding that double value. Zach's going to paralyze into a Blinding Light. Valito's the target, having to trade Astral Shift here. That's no Combust. That's no Zwen. So that's a big cooldown to blow for Valito here. Method NA in a good position.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It really feels like Hamsters and Hairs, they want to go after Brain whenever possible. This adaptation coming in from Brain with his Legendary obviously paying dividends for him. Hammer of Justice does land. Drake just spamming out Vivifies, just preemptively spamming out Vivifies over and over and over. Brain's health actually went up during that Hammer of Justice Lightning Lasso combo because of those off heals. So we need to get the crowd control on Drake. The first setup, they managed to get a polymorph on him, but we need to see that kind of control once again. If you're not isolating a target, it's going to be really difficult for you to take them down with Ceruleum peeling and Drake just throwing in off heals. Karma gets traded out by Drake as he's quite extended right now, and Brain is in a polymorph. Floormat doing a great job getting out that crowd control. I want to see more punish on Drake on this map. If he overextends, go after him. I think on the small map, I like the Paladin setups a lot more, but on this large map, really have to punish Drake, and Valito needs to be very careful that he doesn't overextend and push in too far. Big combustion! And Brain looking like he will just trade the Divine Shield to survive. And now without that cooldown, going to be feeling pretty exposed here, especially the next time Floormat can get that combustion up. Hamsters and Hairs doing a great job so far.
Yeah, really, really nice punish there onto Brain. They're going to net themselves the first big cooldown of the game. Floormat is just happy, resetting his combust right now, spamming fireballs, and Ceruleum is trading fireball spam, but he has his combustion, so I don't know how good that is. Now here comes the double Dragon's Breath. Ceruleum actually, it breaks on Ceruleum there from a dot tick, from that Pyroblast dot potentially, or a fireball dot, and that means that Brain is not going to get crowd controlled by the end of that Dragon's Breath, since Ceruleum is able to shut it down. And now you can see here, Floormat still very aggressively positioned, and we're going to see Valito loading up the Stormkeeper here, and now they're going to take one side each. They got a Ring of Frost down around Brain. Drake is stuck in a Hammer of Justice around the corner. Big damage here, and Brain's forced to walk in to the Ring of Frost. What a nice pincer maneuver, and that is what Sid was talking about at the start. Look at this map. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. The pillars are so small, and they have done it. Hamsters and Hairs win cup number 4.